What's going on, good people? It's your main man, Joe Fleetwood, the hustler, and welcome to the Joe Fleetwood podcast. If this is your first time listening to this show, make sure you go to joefleetwood.net and check out all of my social media links. You can also find in the Joe Fleetwood shop the hat and the hoodie that I have on right now, and find some of my Joe Fleetwood merchandise. It's not all signature merchandise, so check it out. You might find something in there that you like. Also, if you are watching this on YouTube, make sure you like and hit that subscribe button. If you're a streamer, you can also find my Twitch information along with Kick on there as well, as I do game streaming some Saturday mornings also. But you can always go to joefleetwood.net and get all that information. I'll let you know when I'm online streaming. Now, in today's show, one of the big things that has been in the news here lately has been the murder trial of Young Dolph. For those of you who are not familiar with Young Dolph, he is a Memphis rapper who was doing his thing, most notably known for a lot of the collaboration songs that he did. But he's straight out of Memphis, Tennessee. Young Dolph was killed November 17th, 2021. Now, one of the biggest turn of events in this case is the fact that one of the murder suspects, Cornelius Smith, said that he was hired by Big Juke in order to put the hit out on Young Dolph. Basically, he put $50,000 a $50,000 hit out on Young Dolph, and apparently Cornelius Smith was one of the trigger man. So let me take you back. Like I said, November, it was 2021 when Young Dolph was assassinated. He was going inside a cookie store inside one of the shopping centers in Orange Mound, and while inside with his little brother, Cornelius Smith and Justin Johnson pulled up in a white Mercedes Benz. They began shooting inside of the cookie store where Dolph and his younger brother were at, killing Young Dolph. The little brother of Young Dolph, he had a gun on him, came outside, he let off a couple of rounds, and he ended up hitting Cornelius Smith in the arm and the leg. Young Dolph later on passed away. He succumbed to the injuries that he received from the gunshot wounds. So that was in 2021 when all of that happened. Fast forward to January 13th, 2024 is when Big Juke passed away. He was also assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee, outside of a restaurant. Now, the district attorney of Memphis said that Johnson had invited Big Juke and Govan, who's another suspect who is considered to be the mastermind inside of the actual assassination of Young Dolph, that in order for them to get signed to CMG, which is Cocaine Music Group, which is Yo Gotti and Big Juke's record label, the rival label that was, Young Dolph's was Paper Route Empire. And if you're a fan of Young Dolph, you know everything with Young Dolph was always get the paper, get the, you know what I'm saying, get the money, get to the money. So it's not officially publicly stated that they believe Big Juke's death was connected to Young Dolph or the original hit that was put out supposedly by Big Juke. They have made no arrest in the killing of Big Juke. So this case has got a lot of twists and turns in it. So like I said, the suspects in the murder trial are Cornelius Smith, Justin Johnson. Those were the two that were seen at the restaurant. And if you haven't seen the actual video of the incident, I'll link it inside the description and you can go check it out. I'm not a huge fan of posting stuff like that on my personal platform, but I have no problem with showing you guys the links so you can go out there and take a look at it for your own self. Cornelius Smith, Justin Johnson, and Hernandez Govan. And like I said, Govan was supposed to be the mastermind behind the whole thing. Big Juke had actually invited Govan and Smith out to Atlanta, and it was there that the supposed contract was made and saying that, hey, Big Juke saying that, hey, this needed to happen. Right now, it's all speculation, no evidence outside of Cornelius Smith saying that he was there and this is how it happened. So Justin Johnson's attorney is Luke Evans. Now, Luke Evans says that, hey, because, when you look at the footage and you see what the suspect is wearing, I don't know what Luke is on, but this very statement leads me to believe that he is not a very good attorney. The photo of him wearing clothes like the person in the video does not mean he is the same person. That's the only argument you have in open arguments when Cornelius Smith's lawyer says, hey, this is this is who these individuals are, and that's the best that you come up with. You didn't come up with an alibi of where he might have been that contradicts Cornelius Smith's statement. You can't come up with nothing but that statement. That's the best you got. Hey, I'm sorry to tell you, Mr. Johnson, but you going down, my boy. Hey, you going down because there's a strong belief and possibility that you were the one that was in that video. But also, your lawyer ain't trying. Ain't no way my man trying. Ain't no way he putting effort. If those are the kind of statements he making in open arguments, fam, you done. You done. Yeah. So now it is said that like I said, the hit was supposed to be for $50,000. During Cornelius Smith's testimony, he said he only received $800 prior to his arrest. And then he said later on, Big Juke paid the $50,000 to Cornelius Smith's attorney. Well, that ain't nothing because your attorney gonna eat that all up. Them 50 G's is gone. Now, I can say this, and by no means am I condoning what Cornelius Smith did, because it was heinous. So when asked, what was going on during that time frame, Cornelius Smith said that, hey, I was just trying to get some money. Later on, he was like, I didn't even know who Dolph was. He said that the only reason he even knew, and this is to Dolph's credit and to his character, because he was always doing something in Memphis, Tennessee. But he said the only reason he even knew that Dolph was going to be in town is because he was doing a turkey giveaway, right? It's November 17th, Thanksgiving. My man is out in the city giving back. He's constantly giving back. He's always doing something for the people of Memphis. And here this man is coming back to get some cookies to support a black-owned business, to give back by giving out Thanksgiving turkeys to people so they can have a nice meal for Thanksgiving. And then he end up getting killed. And you do it on your daughter's birthday. Right after he committed that assassination, he decided to then go ahead to his daughter's birthday party. Now, where I'm going with this is to talk to Cornelius Smith's mental state. According to him, a few months prior to that, his son had died, and said that he was constantly popping pills and doing drugs to try to make that pain go away. But while in prison, after he had been arrested, he began to sober up and his conscience started to eat away at him. And that's when he decided to, come clean. First day of trial. And he came out the gate, straight out the gate, telling exactly what it was. He didn't hesitate. That's why I believe that the man is telling the truth. Because at this point, it wasn't like everything he said it with conviction. Because I don't think there's any amount of money that you could pay somebody in his position to tell a lie, especially one as big as this one. Because what this is going to do is going to put a target on him. And I'm talking about in prison, wherever he goes. I don't know if there's enough money out there or enough protection for this man in prison. I do not know. Because you all seen what they was doing to the dude that murdered Nipsey Hussle. Like, that man is in prison suffering. Like, they putting all kind of things on them. And I see the same for Cornelius. They may show him a little bit of leniency because he came forward, he told the truth, he didn't drag it out. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, there's a lot to be seen with this case. But let's take it a step further, man. I want to talk to the mothers and fathers out here. Like, get your kids out these streets, man. Get them out. Life is not a video game. You take a couple shots, you not coming back. You not coming back. You can hear stories of people like Tupac getting shot 5 times, surviving. You know, Pac getting shot. Yeah, like I said, Pac getting shot 5 times, surviving. 50 getting hit 9 times and surviving. Hey, that ain't common. That ain't the natural outcome at all. That's not. Sit down somewhere. Go find a way to make some money. Because I don't know where the heightened emotional sensitivity that these young men have in their lives, that they don't understand that murder, drugs, and war ain't good for business at all. You can't make no money in these kind of situations. You got 2 options. You got death or jail. I don't get it. And don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of rap. And as much as I want to blame the music industry behind the type of, music that is pushed, we also have to take accountability for what goes on within our culture. As bad as I want to blame, because they are the mechanism in which the music is distributed through the people. And because they have the money to do so, they only want you to make a specific type of music. Now, back in the day, you had music that provided a well-rounded situation, right? And I talked about this in a previous podcast where you can have NWA, you can have Poor Righteous Teachers, you can have Leaders of the New School, and you can have Spice One. You know what I mean? You had balance. You had balance. You know what I mean? Queen Latifah had her movement. You had Yo-Yo on the West Coast, and I'm using East and West Coast just to let you know that there was a balance in the music. You know what I mean? You had them cats out in the Bay Area. Who was out there? E40, Too Short. You had some conscious rappers out there, Della Folk and Homo Sapien. Who else? Them cats who sang, who had the song 93 Till Infinity. Souls of Mischief. You know what I'm saying? Far Side. You had that balance on every coast. But now in the music business, all the music sounds the same. It's about scamming, conning, dope using, dope dealing, and murder. That's it. That's all the music consists of. And sex. That's it. You can barely find rappers who do music of substance outside of the big 3. And it's always, contrary to, Kendrick stands. It ain't the big 3, it's just big me. I get it. But between Kendrick, Drake, and, J. Cole, those are the only ones who have the ability to put out music that doesn't fit the norm of what these record labels push. And I also talked about that in one of my previous podcasts, Hip Hop Dismantle. But yeah, you know what I mean? Parents, keep your kids out of these streets because ain't nothing out there good for them. And if you know your child is out here committing these type of heinous crimes and destroying the public and destroying the neighborhood, you got to do somebody for somebody else. You can go see your son in the county or the pen or in the feds, or you can go visit a graveyard. Because before I let one of mine go out here and do something stupid, hey, y'all can come get him. Y'all can come get him. No, I ain't finna condone none of that bullshit at all. Not in my house, not from one of mine. After I give you some straightening and you don't listen and you still go back out there, boy, I send them folk to you. Hey, go on, get him up out of here. Yeah, get him up out of here. I don't care, not one of mine. I ain't finna come see you in no cemetery. Ain't no way. That's the last thing a parent should have to worry about is burying one of their own kids before they go. A parent should never see that. Even if a child died of natural causes, it ain't nothing you can do about it. or even if it's just a accident. I don't wish that on no parent, on nobody. Now here this man is, done murdered this man who been taking care of the neighborhood. Ain't that what you're supposed to do after you make it big? People are always saying, yeah, cats make it big, they don't never come. This man was coming back. And look what happened to him. Coming back, taking care of people. So what we talking about? Ego, cocaine music group, you know what I'm saying, versus Paper Route Empire. Both of y'all representing Memphis. And the world, you mean to tell me that these two movements could not come together to support Memphis? And even if they didn't come together, it's still a win for Memphis. It's a win. You got two talented artists who are doing something for their own hood, putting it on. That's just crazy to me, folks. That's crazy, right? So what's the next move? Because here's what I would like to know, man, and I want y'all to do me a favor. Whether in the comments, if you're watching this on YouTube, and I put my email in this if you listen to this on Spotify, Amazon, or iHeartRadio, or wherever you consume your podcast, on Apple Podcasts or whatever, email me, joe@joefleetwood.net, because I don't want to sit back and wait for something to happen and for somebody else to do something. I want to hear it from the public, because at some point we as a people have to take a stand and say we are not standing for this bullshit in our community. Like, it can't go on. These gangs out here killing our children, and I'm talking about babies in some cases. They out here destroying our people. We can't even have a decent place to live without these young cats tearing it up. Like, ain't somebody got to do something. So I want to know from you all, what is it do you think that we can do as a community? Because I look at it like this: either we can go the route of the Black Panthers, or we can create a militia and just destroy that whole movement over there, like they do with cancer. You go in and you kill it off. Or you got gangrene, you cut it off. Just wipe it out. And I don't think that's the answer, because there's some people in there who are just lost, who need guidance. Some cats out there really do. And they being led astray. They being taken advantage of. They ain't got nobody at home. Obviously, they need somebody to care about. But that's something that I genuinely want to know and try to figure out. We got to do better, man. Last week, did a podcast on the Puffy situation. So let's kind of dive back into that. We can consider this a kind of an update to it. And I don't know how true this is. And last week it was reported that the second plea deal that Puffy entered was not plea deal, but bond package. And I'm still confused on that as well, because like you can, when you look at these cases, especially this one with Puffy, there is some bias there with this bond, because the bond package that he put in was, I felt, extremely reasonable. And if you didn't hear it on the last show, I'll tell you on this one. $50 million was his bond package. He knew he was going to have some legal troubles. He paid off his $48 million mansion in Miami. Paid it completely off. He gave up his U.S. passport. Gave up his mom's passport. He also put up his mom's house. Both of those properties paid off. He was also willing to sell his jet. Said the jet hadn't sold yet, but when it sold, he was even willing to put the cash up from the sale of the jet also. And the district attorney said, hey, we don't feel that that's sufficient enough. And the judge agreed. And the reason that the judge said is that he is a flight risk. Where he going? Everything he has is tied up. He even offered to wear a GPS monitoring device. So where the man going? And the other thing they said is that he could intimidate key witnesses. I'm not. I can see that being a possibility, but I don't see that happening. You know what I mean? Especially with everything that he got going on. Because if I'm one of the witnesses, bro, Puffy, you call me or have somebody call me, I'm recording everything. That would be probably one of the dumbest moves that he could do, is contact somebody and try to intimidate. Because now you're just giving them evidence. You're just adding fuel to the fire of your case. Nothing about that move makes sense. You know what I mean? And then I'm pretty sure that they would track any and everyone coming and going outside of his house. So I didn't understand that. Now, recently there has been a post on social media about Puffy being offered a plea deal by the feds. Now, I don't know how true this is, but it's also reported on Media Takeout that the feds are offering him a 1-year deal in order to um, give evidence on any other celebrities that were involved in these freak offs and any other parties and wrongdoings um, involved in this case. Like I said, I don't know how true that is, but one of the things I will say that I find quite well, I don't even want to call it ironic, but it goes along with the thought process that I had. Now, I just recently saw this from 50 Cent. Now, I said in the podcast last week when I was talking about Puffy, is that, hey, none of this started happening until Puffy sued the beverage company. When that happened, that's when all of this started to happen. Because you got to think, there were two other moguls who sued beverage companies. Jay-Z sued Bacardi, got a huge payout, crushed him. They tried to give him a low valuation of his shares. He said, all right, you're going to have to show me the inventory and you're going to have to show me the numbers. Do an audit. When it came out, they actually indeed tried to lowball him. Boom, he hit him for a huge lick, 40 plus million, I think it was, or whatever. 50 Cent sued his. And I don't know if it was I don't think it was the Branson line, but he had two, actually three liquor companies. He was with Branson, Le Chimie Duar, and F and Vodka. And I don't know which one of the three that it was. I don't think it was Branson Cognac because he's still pushing Branson Cognac to this day. Matter of fact, he did his thing, the Texas Takeover last week or week before that. So I know he's still pushing Branson. But he did say in an interview that it wasn't until that point that he started making the guys who own the liquor company uncomfortable. That's when it started happening. And then also he let it be known that the liquor business is not regulated like any other business. So when it comes to doing business with these liquor brands and all this, it's kind of like the wild, wild west. You know what I mean? So they don't have as much scrutiny or not as scrutinized as much as other businesses that you would find yourself in, especially because and I think one of the reasons is that there are so many competitors in the beverage market. You know what I mean? It's wild out there. And then on top of that, it's not grossly negligent, so to speak. You know what I mean? Um you don't have a monopoly on the business, like I said, because it's grossly overpopulated. There are all kinds of brands out there. I don't even know if it's FDA regulated. So I don't even know who even deals with the alcoholic side, the alcoholic beverage side of things. So just based off of that little, and I'm just going based off a little tidbit that I heard from 50 Cent's interview talking about, dealing with beverage companies and how they operate. So yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that, but I think by him saying that, it's going to start to put eyes on these liquor companies. You know what I mean? If it comes to light that they had anything to do with it, I think you're going to start seeing more and more liquor companies try to streamline the way they do business, try to be up and up. Because after, and this is partly because Jay-Z is not active on social media, the news outlets did all of the press releases when it came to acknowledging that Bacardi had to pay a huge sum to Jay-Z for falsely valuating his shares. Now, with 50, of course, the news outlets gonna get a hold of it, and 50 gonna just do you in when it comes to his social media, because he either gonna hit you, he can hit you from either side, either Instagram, Twitter, especially his Instagram. Like his Instagram is a news outlet itself. You know what I mean? You just the last place you want to end up is on 50 Cent Instagram, man. Last place you want to be. So yeah, man. So to kind of wrap things up, continue to take a look at this Young Dolph trial, man. I will post updates on my Instagram, my TikTok. I haven't been actually active on either or, except for to drop information surrounding my podcast, but I'm going to try to be a lot more personal on my platforms. Same thing with my Twitter. Not on Twitter as much as I used to be, so I'm gonna definitely gonna start being a little bit more active on that, man, and try to bring you guys what's going on in the world today, and we'll find different topics to talk about. And by all means, man, please feel free to drop information inside my comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can also email me at joe@joefleetwood.net, and make sure you go to joefleetwood.net and check out our shop. I got all kinds of merchandise in there. You find this cap, you find this hoodie, along with a bunch of other stuff I got in there, man. Trust me, you'll like it. Like I said, man, thank you guys for joining me. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube, and make sure you do the same thing on Spotify and Apple Podcast and wherever it is you're listening to this podcast at, man. All of that stuff really helps me. It costs you nothing to hit the like and subscribe button. It's absolutely free, man. Thank you. Until next time. Peace.